When you don't know a lot about business, you kind of trust somebody that you're turning it over to. You just hope that they would do the right thing, but they didn't. We just got taken by them. It was just one of those things, you believe in people, and in the end, they cut your throat.
Talk about that after your guest leaves.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much. Have a good lunch.
Thanks, bye. She calls me every day. My name is Joan Anderson, and I will be 94 in December. My husband used to fly this P-38, which he thought was the most beautiful airplane in the world. So he flew this all over. He was in the service for 5 years. In 1946, I met my husband on Bondi Beach in Australia. We started going out, and he proposed to me on the 3rd month that we met, and on the 4th month we were married. This was my wedding picture, April 21st, 1945. There were 10,000 brides that married American men. We sailed out of Brisbane in the early part of '46 and came over here to the United States. My first trip away from home, and it was a big one. We settled into a life in Los Angeles. I had been married for 11 years, and I went back to visit my family in Australia. Everywhere I would go, everybody was giggling and carrying on, and I asked what was going on, and they said, oh, everyone's doing the hoop, they just love it. I have always been very physical. It could be that that's the reason I noticed it, because when I first saw it, everyone was having such fun. I thought I'd like to do that too. So when I came back here, I told my husband about it. And he said, why didn't you bring one? So that's when I wrote my mother and I asked her to send one over. It was wrapped in brown paper. And the delivery man came to the door and delivered it. And he said, why would anyone send something like this all the way from Australia? And I often wondered if he put it together, that what he did deliver became a sensation. This is where I keep the hula hoop, my hoop. This is the bamboo one that I brought from Australia, and here is the one that they make over here in plastic. So there's quite a difference in size, and this is very lightweight, where this is quite heavy. We had it for about 6 months before we showed it to a friend of ours who was visiting. He said, you look like you're doing a hula. And I said, there's the name, Hula-Hoop. And it was born that night at our dinner party. There were so many stories about where the name came from, and it's all fictitious. This is the true story about it. It takes the right kind of a hip movement to keep it going. So, yeah, you just get in a rhythm and you can just keep it going for the longest time. My husband knew Spud Malin at Whammo. He had sold him some machinery.
And now let's meet our first contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please?
We called Spud and told him we were coming over with this item that he would be interested in. And actually, we never even went in his office. We were outside of his building. There were no witnesses, just Spud and my husband and myself. So he looked at it and he thought it was quite interesting. We told him we've called it the Hula-Hoop, and he thought that was a great name for it. And he said, looks like it has some merit. And if it makes money for us, it's going to make money for you. It was a gentleman handshake at the time.
Do you have anything to do with the hula hoop? He invented and he manufactures. You hit on all 16 pistons that time.
So Spud started promoting it, and from there it just took off.
From the folks that brought you the Frisbee, Whammo has done it again. That's right, the hula hoop is sweeping across the country. It's fun, fun, fun for the whole family. And with 25 million hoops already sold, Whammo can let the good times roll.
We were very naive as far as doing business with another company and giving over a product to them that made them millions of dollars. Hula hoop sales soared to 30 million in 2 months. Who would have thought? We called Spud and asked him, what was going on. But he kept putting us off all the time.
I'm sorry, sir. Would you like to leave a message?
No message.
They just ignored us and totally cut us off. I mean, we could have patented the name, but as far as patenting a circle, we didn't feel we could. So we just let it go and just went on with our lives. We often talked about, the money we could have made from it and maybe changed our life a little bit, but it didn't work out that way. So why be angry with something you can't change? The thing is, they never acknowledged who gave them the hula hoop. I think that bugged me more than anything. It was never reported correctly at all. I was not a friend. That's about the biggest lie I've ever heard. I tell people I brought it here and they kind of look at me and think, you're crazy. This is the original from Australia. I brought it to this country.
How fun. How did they bend that wood, that bamboo like that?
I don't know. That's the original from Australia.
This one?
Yeah.
Really?
The world isn't fair, but life goes on. So you win some, you lose some. I had a great life. My husband lived to be 87, and we had 63 wonderful years together, and so happiness is definitely the best revenge. Last week I was in an exercise class, and they said, will you demonstrate it for us? So I did. I thought, that's pretty good for an old lady. Start moving your hips.